You can find more information about Bricky Boy Productions in the description below to all of Bricky Boy Productions' social media accounts. I have uploaded the 4 photos used in this tutorial to Bricky Boy Productions' portfolio page, and you can click on the link and download and then work in Photoshop as I go through the tutorial. Hello, my name is Dustin Brook with Bricky Boy Productions, and today we're going to be doing a photo merge, or stitching. Here is the Mississippi River, and it is 19 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's minus 7 degrees Celsius. There is a little snow coming down here by the river, and to do this photo merge, you're going to need to take some photos, whether it's the horizontal or the vertical position, but you're going to take many photos. Today we're going to take 4. So we'll start over here aimed at the bridge. I'm going to take a photo, and then you want to have some of the previous photo in your next photo so everything stitches together seamlessly. Take a photo here, then again here. What we'll do is stitch these back together. I have made a folder called Panorama Stitching Tutorial on my desktop, and in here there's 1, 2, 3, 4 files. If I press the space bar, it enlarges. If I press down and up again, then down, it'll cycle through the photos. So I have 4 photos, and up and down with the arrow lets me see that and see the order. And when I close this, you will see the final Mississippi River panorama. And I made a PDF of it, and that's what it'll look like. It's fairly large, several feet wide and 1.5 feet tall, I believe. Alright, I'm going to open it. I'm toggling through by pressing Command and Tab, and there's a Valentine card. I didn't make that. Some of that was made in AI. This is the final result. I'm in Workspace. Right now it says painting, but photography is, I'm going to put it on. Then also window Workspace. Make sure you have the navigator. The navigator is usually by the histogram. And what it lets you do is zoom in and out. It doesn't affect the final result of the photo. It's just when you're working around the photo. So this is the final result. And we're going to have one that looks very similar. And just from experience from doing this previous 19% kind of fills up the whole screen, and you can drag it up and down, left and right. But over there in the red, you can move that thing around the navigator as well. We're going to go to File-Automate-Photomerge to do this technique. Alright, it has auto, perspective, cylindrical, spherical, collage, and reposition. Some of these deal with 360 cameras. We're going to let it do the auto, bring in a folder, browse, and it's called Panorama Stitching Tutorial on a desktop. You open it, it'll have the 4 files. Make sure it says blend images together. Don't worry about the content aware. You could use it if you want to. I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to go with what reality is, and it automatically will stitch them together, and that's the result right there. But notice it has transparency around it, so you don't want any of that in your photo. So we're going to talk about the crop tool here in just a second. The crop tool lets you make this a size you want. The main tool is the move tool. If you hold down on the bottom right, left click and hold down, it gives you options. You want to be on the crop tool. Notice the arrows are left and right. You don't want to crop just yet, but that's how you can crop. I can toggle the width and the height. If you want to print a 5x4, you can crop it as well. But we're going to have a fairly large photo here in a moment. I'm just kind of cycling through the different settings. And notice when I stretch it out, you have some transparency. You do not want the little pixels there. So I'm going to go back to ratio, and from experimenting, I think it's around 19. So I'll type in 19, and then this is going to be fairly small, like 2 or 3. You stretch it out, and you'll see that kind of gets everything and no transparency, just from experimenting with the ratio number. You can drag it around as well. You can read. I like to zoom in more. Sometimes when you zoom in a lot, it's a fairly large file, so with my computer it kind of just all shows transparency. So you can zoom back in and out to finally see the image come back. So just from experience, I would say 2.9 on this one, but I'm going to have to zoom in and make sure there's no pixels. You don't want any, like that transparency on the right side, so I have to crop it a little bit more. But what I would do is, before cropping it, to zoom in so you can see all the corners. So I'm dragging around, and there is a little bit of artifact there that would have bleed through, which is white color. And at the bottom, it's got a. So the more you zoom in, the more accurate you can get. So right now it's at 58%, but I could go to 100 and it would be double what it is now in size to see like minute details of the photo. So there I go to 110. That's probably a good way to see if there's any there, and there it is. There's a little transparent artifact. So just kind of keep moving around, and that's really all you can do is kind of just scroll through it and just make sure the top, left, right sides are not having transparency. Then eventually we're going to crop this thing, and you can do it by either the check box at the top, by share, or right here. And you can press return or enter on the keyboard and it'll automatically crop it. And we want to see the size here in a moment, and that's going to let us see the image size. So if we go to image and image size, this thing is fairly large, 127 inches almost by 20. Not quite, but if we were to convert that, I mean, you're talking several feet long. So yeah, it's around 10 feet by 1.5. So that is fairly large. Under image, file, save a copy. I'm going to save this. It's going to the downloads, and this is going to be the first panorama. And instead of PDF, I'm going to change that, and there you have a Photoshop file that would save everything you edited on Photoshop. I'm going to change it to a JPEG, and I have a folder I'm going to put it in. On the desktop, it's actually going into a desktop folder. On JPEG, you want to make sure it's all the way over to the 12 and click OK. So that's JPEG, and we're going to look at the image size, and then we're going to, we can look and see in here is the original size, and right here is the lock. To lock the aspect ratio, we're going to look and see the pixels. So make it for a banner that goes on our website, top and bottom. So about 1,000 would be what I would do. And it says 153, so it keeps the proportion. Notice it's really small at 15.7%. But if I zoom in to 520%, notice it's very pixelated, but it's not a bad image. It's because we're looking at it like 500%. Of, it's supposed to be like not even 100. It's not quite 100, but 100. That's what it would look like on a website. So we're going to save a copy. If we say save, that doesn't have any options. So it says format. There's only 4 options. So go to save a copy, and here you can rename it, and we're going to save it as a JPEG. A smaller panorama. This is the one that would go on a banner of a website at the top, bottom of a page. That would look pretty nice, like on Canvas or a Blackboard. But PDF, we're going to change that and to a JPEG. And when you save it, I always try to make sure it's at 12 maximum. Notice it could have a matte. It has none on there. Right, so under the desktop folder, it's not actually the desktop, it's the desktop folder. So if I find, okay, go all the way down. It's not downloads, it's desktop and desktop folder. And eventually I'm going to click on it, and right now I'm going to sort it by date modified, so it'll jump up there towards the top, and click on it, press the space bar. That is the larger image, and that was the smaller image. Here are the 4 original photos along with the Photomerged stitched photo using the Automate-Photomerge option in Photoshop. Thanks for tuning in to Brookie Boy Productions. Please do like, subscribe, comment. Maybe you have a suggestion, maybe you have a question, a request for a tutorial, and please share. A new tutorial will be produced every 14 days. The next upload will be March 2nd. Dos de marzo. Ciao.